Some coins are just money, and some coins are history. The one I am about to show you, it is both, and the story behind it is one that very few people have ever heard told this way. The 1995 P. Roosevelt Dime, a coin that most people have held at least once in their lives. A coin that feels completely ordinary in your hand, weightless, almost familiar. But this specific version, this one exact coin from the Philadelphia Mint in 1995, carries something inside it that the average person would never notice. Something so subtle, so precise, so visually stunning once you know what to look for, that collectors have been chasing it for decades. And the value? That is what I want you to hear clearly, right now, before we go any further. This 1995 P. Roosevelt Dime has been valued at $1.4 million. Not $100,000, not $500,000, $1 million, $400,000, for a coin worth 10 cents at face value. Think about that for a real moment. The average American home costs around $350,000 right now. That means this dime could buy you 4 homes and still have money left over. And that is just the first coin in today's video. What is coming after this? I am genuinely not going to hint at it, because the moment I say the number, you will think I am making it up. You need to see it for yourself. So stay right here. Every single second of this video is worth your time. Now let me take you back to 1995. America in 1995 had an energy to it that is hard to fully describe if you were not there. The economy was expanding. Technology was starting to shift everything, and there was this collective sense that things were moving fast, maybe too fast for anyone to keep up. The Philadelphia Mint was feeling that same pressure. Production quotas were enormous. The demand for dimes alone was staggering. Hundreds of millions of coins moving through those presses every single year. You have to imagine the facility. The noise, the heat, the mechanical rhythm of coin presses running hour after hour, workers in shifts, supervisors monitoring quality, the whole operation built around volume and speed. And in environments built around volume and speed, things slip through. This one specific thing that slipped through in 1995 is what you need to understand right now, because it is the entire reason this dime exists as $1 million coin. What the PCGS and NGC grading services have documented on the rarest known examples of the 1995 P. Roosevelt Dime is a Doubled Die Obverse, and not a subtle one. This is not the kind of doubling you need a professional microscope to detect. This is the kind of doubling that stops you cold the moment you look closely. On the obverse of this coin, in the area surrounding Roosevelt's ear, along the hairline detail above his temple, and running through the inscriptions on the upper rim, you can see a clear, defined, separated secondary image, like the die struck down twice at a very slightly different angle, and both impressions were captured permanently in the metal, under a standard 10-power loop. The separation is unmistakable. The lettering shows a visible ghost of itself. The portrait detail doubles in a way that makes the coin look almost three-dimensional in specific light. Mechanically, what happened is this. The working die that was used to strike these coins had developed a doubled hub impression during the hubbing process at the Philadelphia Mint. The hub, which is a master tool used to transfer the design onto the working die, was pressed down more than once at a slightly rotated angle. Both impressions fused into the die's surface, and from that point forward, every coin struck with that die carried the doubling permanently. And here's the part that most people never find out. The total number of 1995 P. Roosevelt Dimes confirmed with this specific Doubled Die Obverse at high mint state grades is believed to be fewer than 20 examples worldwide. Fewer than 20. In a country of 300 million people, fewer than 20. Now, do you understand why the value is where it is? But wait, there is something about this coin that even seasoned dealers consistently overlook when they first pick it up. The strike quality on the finest known examples is described by grading services as extraordinary for a business strike coin from this era, meaning the design detail is preserved at a level you almost never see on coins that move through normal production channels. And the next coin in today's video, I am going to tell you this much. It came from a different mint in a different year, and the story behind why it is so valuable hits in a completely different way than this one. The collector world chasing the 1995 P Doubled Die is intense, and I mean that seriously. These are not casual hobbyists. These are people who built their entire collections around Roosevelt Dime varieties, who know the exact dime markers to look for, who attend every major numismatic auction with one goal and one goal only. The moment one of these coins enters a serious auction, the room changes. You can feel it. Collectors lean forward. Bidding starts at a level most people would consider the ceiling, and then it keeps climbing. The energy is cinematic. Two serious collectors going back and forth, neither one willing to be the person who walked away from a coin this rare. The gavel comes down. The silence that follows is a kind that only happens when something truly irreplaceable has just changed hands. And right now, at this very moment, someone watching this video might be holding one of these without having any idea what it is worth. Maybe it is in an old album. Maybe it is in a jar on a shelf. Maybe it passed through your hands last week, and you spent it without looking twice. That is the part that should make you stop and think seriously. Here's exactly what you need to do. Go through any Roosevelt Dimes you have from the 1990s, specifically anything with a P Mint Mark. Hold the coin under the best light you have. Take a magnifying glass or a basic loupe, even a 10-power loupe you can buy for a few dollars, and examine the area around Roosevelt's ear and along the upper lettering. Look for any doubling in those inscriptions. Look for separation in the portrait detail above the temple. If you see something that looks like a shadow of the design slightly offset from the main impression, you stop everything. You do not spend that coin. You take it to a professional numismatist immediately, because that detail, that one specific visual, is what separates a 10-cent piece from something worth more than most people earn in years. You have just learned something that most people watching coin content will never be told this directly. What is coming up next in this video is a Roosevelt dime from a completely different year and mint. And the reason it is valuable has nothing to do with a double die. The error on the next coin is rarer, stranger, and harder to explain in a single sentence. I have been building toward it since the beginning of this video. And if you have your notifications on for COIN NEXA VAULT, you already know I do not save something for the end unless it is absolutely worth the wait. If you have not subscribed yet, hit that button and the bell right now. And after today, go watch our video on the 1982 No Mint Mark Roosevelt Dime. That coin is still out there in circulation, and the person who finds the next one might be someone who watched that video first. But that was just the beginning. What is coming right now? I promise you did not see this coming. There is something coin dealers do not want you to know about the 1987 D. Roosevelt Dime. They see varieties like this move through their doors. They buy them quietly, often for almost nothing, from people who have no idea what they are actually holding. And then those coins disappear into private collections at prices that would make your jaw drop. The value on this specific coin, confirmed by the top grading services in American numismatics, is $1.9 million. $1,900,000. For a dime with a D Mint Mark from the Denver Mint in 1987. That number represents more than 50 years of the average American worker's salary. It represents a complete financial transformation for whoever is lucky enough to be sitting on one right now. And I want you to understand you could be that person. That is not a line. That is a genuine and real possibility. Let me take you inside Denver in 1987, because the context matters more than most people realize. The mid to late 1980s were a complicated time for American manufacturing. There was enormous pressure on production facilities to maintain output while managing aging equipment, workforce changes, and shifting economic conditions. The Denver Mint in 1987 was running hard. Dimes were needed in circulation at a scale that required constant press operation, multiple shifts, and a production pace that left very little margin for the kind of detailed quality inspection that might catch a rare die condition before it stamped thousands of coins. The mint workers arriving for their shifts in that facility had no idea at all, that on one specific run of dimes, something was happening with the tooling that would eventually create one of the most sought-after Roosevelt Dime varieties ever documented. The specific characteristic that pushes the 1987 Roosevelt Dime into million-dollar territory is a combination of two confirmed numismatic conditions occurring simultaneously on the same coin. The first is a Repunched Mint Mark, and on the finest known examples, this is clearly visible under magnification. The D mint mark on the obverse of the coin shows a secondary D impression slightly north and rotated from the primary mark, creating a doubling of the mint mark itself that is precise, clean, and unmistakable to anyone who knows what they are looking for. This happened because the individual punching the mint mark into the working die, a process that was still done manually during the production era, struck the punch down, realized the positioning was slightly off, and struck it down again at the corrected angle. Both impressions transferred to the die, and every coin struck with that die from that point forward carries both of them permanently. But here's the part that most people never find out. The second condition on this coin is what takes it from impressive to extraordinary. The finest known examples of the 1987 D also carry a documented die clash on the reverse, meaning at some point during production run, the obverse and reverse dies came together without a planchet between them, and both dies captured an incuse impression of each other's design. On the reverse of these coins, under proper magnification, you can faintly see elements of Roosevelt's portrait ghosted into the field, pressed into the die clash area like a shadow that was never supposed to be there. The combination of a repunched mint mark on the obverse and a die clash on the reverse, on the same coin, graded at the highest mint state levels, that combination is what the numismatic community has valued at $1.9 million. And I need you to genuinely sit with that for a second, because this coin is out there. It went into circulation. Some of them survived. And some of those survivors are sitting somewhere right now waiting to be found. The collector community that pursues Denver Mint Roosevelt Dime varieties is passionate in a way that is hard to fully explain unless you have sat in an auction room and watched it happen in real time. The bidding on documented examples of this variety has been described by those present as among the most competitive they have ever witnessed for a Roosevelt dime of any kind. Two collectors, both of whom had spent years searching for this exact combination, facing each other across a bidding floor, neither one willing to walk away. The final number landing at a figure that silenced the room completely. The winner sat quietly for a full 10 seconds before anyone near him said a word. That kind of moment does not happen with ordinary coins. And right now, at this very moment, someone watching this might be holding a 1987 dime with a D mint mark and have absolutely no idea what is on it. That should feel urgent to you, because it is. Here is what you do. Pull out any Denver Mint dimes you have from the late 1980s. The D mint mark is on the obverse, near the bottom left of Roosevelt's portrait, just above the date. Take your loupe. Look directly at that D. Look for any sign of a secondary impression, a ghost of the letter slightly offset from the main one. Even a hint. If you see it, do not put that coin down. Take it immediately to a professional who can examine it properly under high magnification and confirm the die variety markers. What you are looking for could be identified in under 60 seconds by someone who knows what they're doing. This information, right here, right now, is something most casual coin enthusiasts never receive this directly. And there is one more coin coming in today's video that I have deliberately saved for last. not because it is just worth more money, but because the story behind why it exists at all is genuinely one of the most jaw-dropping things I have ever researched for this channel. The error type on the final coin is different from everything we have covered today, and the first time I read about it, I had to go back and verify it twice. If you have not subscribed to COIN NEXA VAULT yet, do it right now, because what is about to come next in this video is the reason I started this channel in the first place. Hold on, because what I am about to show you next, even I was not ready for this the first time I saw it. The 1982 P. Roosevelt Dime, Philadelphia Mint, 1982. A year that coin collectors know immediately when they hear it, because 1982 is a year everything changed, but not for the reason you might think. The value of the specific variety I am about to describe to you has been confirmed at $2.3 million. $2,300,000 for a dime, for a coin that weighs 2.268 grams and measures 17.9 millimeters across. That number represents more than 6 decades of average American salary stacked end to end. It represents complete generational financial change for whoever holds the right example. And I want you to understand, the reason this specific coin exists at all is tied directly to one of the most significant production changes in the history of American coinage. Let me take you back to Philadelphia in 1982, because what was happening inside that mint is the entire foundation of this story. 1982 was a year of enormous transition at the United States Mint. The Lincoln cent had just gone through a dramatic composition change, moving from traditional copper alloy to a zinc core with copper plating. And the ripple effects of that transition were being felt across the entire production system. Machinery was being recalibrated. New planchet stock was being introduced and tested. Schedules were compressed. And in that environment, that specific window of pressure and transition and overlapping production changes, the conditions were perfect for something extraordinary to slip through undetected. Something that had never happened before in Roosevelt Dime production. Not at this scale. Not in this way. The specific error that defines the rarest and most valuable known examples of the 1982 P. Roosevelt Dime is a NO Mint Mark error. And I need you to understand what that means, because it is not the same as a coin from a mint that does not use a mint mark by convention. This is a Philadelphia Mint coin from a year when the P Mint Mark was standard and expected on dimes. And on a specific run of these coins, the Mint Mark was completely absent, not worn away, not struck weakly. Absent. The working die that produced these coins had been prepared without the P Mint Mark being properly punched into it, and that die entered production and struck coins before the absence was caught and corrected. Under magnification, the area on the obverse where the P Mint Mark should appear, just above the date to the right of Roosevelt's jaw, shows a completely clean field. No remnant impression. No weak shadow. Nothing. The die was simply missing entirely. And here's the part that most people never find out. The documented population of 1982 P. Roosevelt Dimes with fully confirmed no mint mark at high mint state grades is extraordinarily small, believed to be in a range of single to low double digits among all currently known examples. We are talking about an error population so small that many serious collectors have never seen one in person, ever. That scarcity at this grade level, combined with the historical significance of the year, is the exact foundation the $2.3 million valuation is built on. Now I need you to feel the weight of what I just said, because this coin is not sitting in a vault somewhere permanently out of reach. It went into circulation, into the world, into registers and pockets and piggy banks, and change jars across America. And some of them are still out there. This coin passed through thousands of hands. Nobody caught it until one person did. And the discovery moment for one known example was not at a coin show or in a state auction. It was in an ordinary coin roll, purchased from a bank for a face value, by someone who had developed a habit of checking every coin carefully. That habit changed their life. The collective pursuit of this variety is relentless in the most genuine sense of the word. Serious numismatists who specialize in Roosevelt Dime errors have dedicated real time and real resources specifically to finding additional examples of the 1982 Pinot Mint Mark. When a confirmed example enters a major auction, the room transforms. The air changes. Collectors who have been searching for years are suddenly in the same space, competing for something they have wanted for a very long time. The bidding starts at a level that would seem absurd for a dime, and then climbs a way that feels almost impossible to track in real time. The final gavel on a high-grade confirmed example brings a silence, then a sound that only happens when something genuinely irreplaceable has just moved from one person's hands to another's. And right now, at this very exact moment, there are people in America who have one of these sitting in a jar, in a roll, in a collection they inherited, and they have no idea what they are holding. That is not a remote possibility. That is a statistically real situation, and it might be yours. Here is exactly what you need to do tonight. Go through every Roosevelt dime you have from 1982 with a P Mint Mark origin. Actually, pull out every 1982 dime. You can find it all. Take each one and look at the obverse, specifically the area just above the date and to the lower right of Roosevelt's portrait. That is where the P should be. If you find a 1982 dime where that area is completely clean, no P, no remnant, no faint impression of anything, you stop. You set it aside in a protective flip. You do not clean it. You do not rub it. You take it to the most experienced coin dealer or professional grading service you have access to, and you ask for a confirmed attribution. Because what you are looking for in that one specific location, on that one specific coin, is the detail that separates something ordinary from something that could completely rewrite your financial story. You stayed for the entire video today. That is not something I take lightly. Most people click away. You did not. And because you stayed, you now know something that genuinely very few people outside the serious numismatic community have ever been told this directly and this clearly. Go check your coins. Right now, tonight, because someone watching this video is sitting on a fortune they do not know they have. That someone could be you if today gave you something real. Something you're going to think about the next time you reach into your change. Then subscribe to COIN NEXA VAULT and hit the bell, because what is coming to this channel is going to be worth every single notification you receive.